It is the We Are You Morning Crew, and I am George Daigle. Good morning to you, and especially you. We're back. And when I say we, who am I talking about? Well, it's me, George Daigle, and it is my lovely co-hostess with the mostest, the one and only Lioness. Good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, George. How are you this fine
Oh,
morning?
I am doing good, girl. I'm just trying to recover. I thought it was going to be the end of the world, girl. I thought I was going to wake up and the world was going to be on fire after these elections last night. I'm trying to tell you.
It was quite a harrowing experience, and there's some hairline things, some hairline races, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. And we'll talk about that. But let's get into this because I have been dying to have this discussion with you. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, unless you've been under a rock for the last few weeks or so, you know that Kyrie Irving has been raked over the coals over a anti-Semitic scandal. And while a lot of people in the Jewish community and those outside of the community have also condemned Kyrie Irving, I'm having a problem, ladies and gentlemen, coming to an agreement about my emotions attached to this entire scandal. So let's first talk about the thing that led to the scandal. Kyrie Irving shared a link to a movie that he saw, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is still at my last research, which was before the weekend, available on Amazon Prime, owned by Jeff Bezos. We'll get back to that. So apparently the movie, according to IMDb, the description of it is basically talking about tracing the ethnic backgrounds of people in the Bible that had been changed, the original Israelites, as they've referred to in the movie. The movie is part of a series that's based on books that were written about the same title, the same subject. I'm sorry. So Kyrie Irving posts a link of this movie on his social media platform, and then the scandal ensued. Now, Kyrie Irving now has an entire list of demands after being suspended, losing his Nike deal. The Brooklyn Nets have given him a list of demands that he must adhere to before they can even have a conversation about him coming back.
Wow.
He's been suspended for at least, that's the key phrase, at least 5 games. Now, the list of demands goes like this. Apologize, condemn the movie. What about Jeff Bezos? $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes. What about Jeff Bezos? Sensitivity training. What about Jeff Bezos? Antisemitic training. Meet with ADL, Jewish leaders, meet with Joe Tsai to demonstrate understanding. Now, again, I think the conversation is great, the dialogue is great, because if I don't have a full understanding of what to you as a Jewish community member is an insult, this is a great dialogue for me now, Kyrie Irving, or anybody else to understand, well, this is why this hurt us, and this is why this is seen as anti-Semitic, and this is why it's a problem for our community, blah, 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 blah. But if I just share a link without any dialogue, kind of, deferring what I'm really feeling while I'm sharing this link, if I'm making any sense, then am I really anti-Semitic? And going even backward, Jeff Bezos is the person who has this movie on his platform. Is this a race situation? Is it about race? Is it simply because this black man had the audacity to say this out loud or share this out loud? I don't know. I hand it over to you, Lioness, and now that I've kind of laid this all out, what do you feel in this moment?
So I have so many thoughts, but one of them is I do believe that there is a dynamic here that is race related. I think that what is going on is purely based in the power dynamic that this particular community will deny sometimes having. I will say that we live in a country where anything related to the Jewish community, any commentary made about that community will immediately ruin your life. But that same commentary, that same level of understanding is not given to Black people or our issues. nor are our genocides held up as highly as the genocide of that particular group of people, though we all have been engaged in genocide, if that makes sense.
Complete sense, yes.
And so in this moment, what we're seeing is yet again another example of how in society one group's issues are not the same as another's in the way that they're treated. Now, I doubt seriously if it were the other way around and there were a white person who identified with the Jewish faith that says something racist about Black people, that it would be this level of stoppage of his bag, of his business, of his life. There wouldn't be this many amount of demands. We don't even have the infrastructure. We haven't been allowed to have the infrastructure to be able to make these demands of anyone, for them to get sensitivity training, for them to have to meet with our leaders, for them to have conversations with us and demonstrate an understanding. And so when you live in a society where you see the difference, and then you also see that part of the issue that these folk are having is that he's also claiming to be Jewish, then it makes you wonder, what is it about him that makes him not be able to claim that? You don't know his faith. You don't know his ethnicity because you haven't seen his DNA report to be able to say whether he is or isn't. So you're just assuming that, and then you're saying it's impossible for you to be that. And I find that interesting as well. So now here's the difference. I do see another side to this. I believe that if we were extended the same grace as Jewish people, then yes, they should have the right to be able to say what bothers them. But we should also have the right to say what bothers us. And because there's not equity in that, and then in the game that we're playing, there's one group that has an inordinate amount of power. I think that we're in a situation where we're watching this group with an inordinate amount of power flex their power on a group that doesn't have as much.
You know what? That puts everything in more perspective. Because again, like you said, now I didn't hear that he said he was Jewish, and just for clarity, ladies and gentlemen, Jewish people does not necessarily mean people who are of paler complexion. There are some people of the Jewish complex that are melanated. Heavily melanated.
And have always been since the very beginning of Judaism. I think now we're so used to seeing, people without melanin. But if you really want to know the origins of where a lot of these religions came from, those people are going to be brown, honey. And they're going to be brown.
And I think that's what this movie was dialoguing. How that the ethnicity of these Israelites, as they were called, has kind of been erased and eroded throughout history and changed. And I think that was the complexity that this movie hoped to discuss. And I think Kyrie Irving sharing that led to all of this. But it's just a conversation that what about Jeff Bezos? That's my thing. Why?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because even the powers that be know that money talks and bullshit walks. And so what bothers me is that the powers that be are picking the smallest dog in the fight to humiliate and to embarrass and to destroy. And it's almost to show, unlike Jeff Bezos, you make your money from us. And the only way you're going to continue to get $1 from us is if you play the game. Now, when I say us, I'm not saying us as collective Jewish people. I'm saying us as in a power dynamic that exists where when Black people disappoint the funders, the sponsors, the people, their life can be ended. And so then in this moment, I do see the inconsistency in the fact that they're not going after Jeff Bezos. Ain't worried about him at all, not pressed, not even mentioning him. But Kyrie Irving may not ever be able to do his job again as a result of only sharing what someone else put up.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, we've had our discussion. We want to know what you think. Go down there in the comments and let us know. We've got more sizzling subjects and trending topics on the way. It is George. It is the Lioness. Y'all know how we do it. Good morning.
Download the WERUradio app.
Turn it up loud.
Use the shout-out feature to talk directly to your favorite station.
Louder!
It's available in your app store. Search WERUradio, one word, today.